At the Xbox Game Showcase, Bethesda revealed a ton of Starfield info. We got a trailer for the Shattered Space expansion, another trailer for the June update that's already live now, and maybe most importantly, both the Creation Kit and Creations are out now too. So we're gonna dive in and take a closer look at all of this, but before we do, thanks to Bethesda for sponsoring this video. Let's start with Shattered Space. If you played Starfield like me and wondered where the heck is House Va'ruun, it looks like we're finally getting those answers. We're gonna explore House Va'ruun's homeworld and its capital city called Dazra. And what immediately stands out to me is how visually striking this place is. I haven't been to all of Starfield's 1,000 or so planets, but I know for a fact that nothing looks like this. Historically, Bethesda is known for doing what I like to call vacation destination DLC. You go to a new location, check out a completely new environment, and meet some interesting characters, do a fun story. Shattered Space looks no different from that, and I'm particularly interested in the cosmic horror vibe that they're going for here. If you listen closely to the dialogue, you get a pretty good idea of what's going on with the plot. Andreja says we've received a distress call from an unknown origin, and that leads us to this mysterious star station. It looks like we're going to explore this place, and that's when all hell breaks loose and we get attacked by these spirit-looking things, and most likely, that's what's going to lead us to the Va'ruun homeworld. The Great Serpent sounds like some sort of celestial entity to me, almost like an ancient god that takes control of living beings and forces them to do its bidding. Throughout the trailer, we see a lot of these wispy-looking spirits, almost like the Great Serpent is sucking the soul out of the living and separating them from their bodies. And then this shot at the end makes me think House Va'ruun could be capturing and transforming people. Or maybe they're sacrificing them for the Great Serpent. Whatever the case may be, I hope the Great Serpent is an actual space snake, you know, like just this giant, massive being that we actually get to see at some point. Personally, I'm excited to bring Andreja with me for this DLC, because from what I remember, there were definitely some unanswered questions from her quest in the main game. Now I know why. We were just waiting to bring her with us back to her homeworld in this DLC. In terms of gameplay, it looks like a lot of the same, but I'm happy to see more zero-G areas in the abandoned space station, and also with these blue cosmic-looking zones on the new planet. Some of my favorite moments from playing the main game were going to those zero-G locations, like the zero-G casino star station that you could go around and explore. So I'm glad to see them lean into that mechanic a little bit more. Now, of course, some people I'm sure are wondering, are we gonna have land vehicles by the time this DLC drops later this year? And I would say no. I mean, the fact that it's not mentioned in this trailer makes me think it's not gonna be ready, and the vehicle update feels like it's further away to me. But of course, I would love to be wrong. Okay, now let's dive into this June update because it adds some interesting stuff that should lay the foundation for what we should expect in future updates. First is the Trackers Alliance. They're getting expanded big time. Now, in the base game, they feel like a super basic faction, I would say, that functionally exists to give you random bounty hunting missions. Now you get to go to their headquarters in Aquila City and hunt down targets like a more traditional faction quest line, I would say. They added the first mission called Starjacker for free with this update, but they're also selling the Vulture via Creations. That's the second mission. I decided to play through the Starjacker and just get a taste of this new kind of content, and it was about an hour-long story mission. I guess you could call it a mini arc where you have to go out and prove yourself to the trackers and try to find this Starjacker guy. And yeah, it was a good time. It was a fun little zero-G space mission, which, as I just mentioned before, I do like those. I got a couple new armor sets, one of them from the Trackers Alliance, and also this arc cutter weapon, which is really cool. Towards the end of the mission, I got this currency called Astra, and it says you can bring it back to a specific vendor at the Trackers Alliance HQ in exchange for rare items and equipment. So whenever a game adds something like this, it's clearly to add some sort of replayability, especially in, I don't think you can call Starfield live service, but it's going to get updates for a long time. And a game like this is sort of ongoing. You know, adding a currency like this suggests that they're going to just keep adding missions like this, so you have opportunities to collect this currency and then bring it in for a nice reward. In terms of story, there's a lot of different characters in this area that you can go up and talk to. They all have unique names, and once you're accepted into the Trackers Alliance, you actually unlock a new bounty board called Elite Bounty Missions. Now, Now, these are described as being higher risk, higher reward, and more dangerous, but it's kind of interesting. The rewards aren't that high. It's just like 5,000 credits, but the main ones like the Starjacker and also the Vulture give you many more credits. So next up, they added a bounty scanner, which lets you scan random people in the environment in any open world scenario to see if they have an active bounty or not. And you get this cool little list of crimes that they committed, and then you get to confront them. You get to choose how to handle the situation, whether to let them go or bring them in dead or alive. You get introduced to this new mechanic once you join the Trackers Alliance, so I think you need to have joined in order to use this. But it's funny, it actually popped up for me while they were trying to teach me the mechanic. So I was wandering around Aquila City looking for a target when I came across this woman who was wanted for impersonating a robot and also for selling UC secrets. So I went ahead, apprehended her, I passed the persuasion check, and she just gave up, gave me my credits, and I was on my way. They also added a few features that, similar to the local maps that they added in the previous update, I thought should have been in the main game from the very beginning because these things were in Fallout 4. Now we can go to research labs and craft ammunition for our weapons. So if you want to choose a weapon type that is kind of scarce on ammo, then it's a little less scarce because you can make it now. And then there's also new melee weapon tiers. So melee is just going to be a more viable class now in Starfield. And also there's melee weapon crafting and modding. Of course, we can always look back at launch and say these things should have been here in the first place, but at the end of the day, this stuff is added to the game. And so now people who experience it will have those things, and it's only a good thing. Now let's take a look at creations. As I mentioned at the top of the video, now you can download the creation kit if you want to make stuff yourself. But I think for a majority of people, including myself, now the ability to download and install mods straight from within the game, no matter if you're on PC or console, being available is kind of a huge deal. When I first booted up the game with the new update, I saw this little splash screen. I got 1,000 credits because I have the premium version of the game. So then that brought me straight to the creation menu. Now you can actually get here from the main menu or just from the pause menu just while you're playing the game, just like you can in Skyrim and Fallout. I spent a while browsing and just looking through all of this stuff. Of course, you've got some official things from Bethesda themselves that they've made, and then community-made creations are already up there. Like the most popular one right now, of course, is a patch, right? I feel like that's also the case for Fallout, where it just goes in and fix some of the smaller stuff that people run into. But then there's more obscure options like changing, interior building layouts, very specific stuff in here, adding Star Wars characters, all kinds of stuff. There's also a Batman suit. Personally, I used my credits to download the Vulture for the next time that I boot up Starfield. That way I can continue the Trackers Alliance mission arc. But as I mentioned at the top, I feel like Creation Kit and just the ability to download mods, Bethesda knows that that's what extends the life of their games. Whether people love them in the beginning or not, people are still going to be making stuff for a long time. And now that this tool is out there in the public, it's just easier to make mods. People have already been making mods for Starfield, but now that they're official, it's going to be easier, wider access. And as people like myself and other creators make YouTube videos, that's just going to spread things even more. So yeah, I'm excited to see what people make, and it'll be interesting to download mods in the future and see how they change Starfield. I mean, even things like entire planets are possible somehow. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff to play with in the future. So that is pretty much it for Starfield out of the Xbox Games Showcase. But yeah, tons of stuff added to the game just in this June update. Then we've got the new story expansion coming later this year, plus official mod support for Starfield. To be honest though, I think the most exciting thing personally for me coming to Starfield is going to be those vehicles, man. The vehicle update, whenever that comes out, I think it's going to change the way that people perceive this game, and it's going to change the exploration loop completely. So I hope they really cook with that one and give us something that's fun and interesting. And when they do, of course, I will be covering it here on the channel. Thanks again to Bethesda for sponsoring this video. If you guys enjoyed, remember to hit the like button. Also subscribe for more videos like this. Plus, you can ring the bell so you don't miss my next one. Thank you all once again for watching, and I will talk to you next time.